So ma'am, we will start. Okay. Before going to 5G security, I just want last session, if you have anybody else any doubt or wants to discuss with me, let us discuss for 5 minutes. Then we'll switch over to the next session. Anything you want to discuss for last session? Yeah.
Sir, whenever we have a mobile phone, there is a Wi-Fi options is there and mobile data is also there. Suppose at this room there is a Wi-Fi, I connect this Wi-Fi and as well as the mobile data is also I am trying to connect. So which one is working?
Which one will be?
Working. Suppose I want to connect to the internet. I have a two options. One is the Wi-Fi, one is the mobile data. Both are on.
Which one will be the faster? It will switch over to that network.
Okay. Automatically
Automatically it will switch over. If Wi-Fi is faster, it will switch over to Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Because it depends how the switching will happen. That depends on the signal strength.
Okay.
If your access point is here, that means your signal strength is very high. So the moment I send a request, it will go to the Wi-Fi and it will connect to the Wi-Fi. But your access point in terms of mobile is somewhere in the maybe 1 kilometer down the line here. So that's why Wi-Fi connection will be faster and it will use the Wi-Fi data. And the moment you come out from the room and you go there, the signal strength decreases. The moment the signal strength decreases, it will again switch over to
automatically migrating.
Yeah, it will automatically migrate. So that's why we call it as a dual mode technology. We implemented the mobile network in such a way that it will operate in one is called as 3GPP, the other one is called as non-3GPP. 3GPP is called as the mobile network, non-3GPP network is the Wi-Fi network.
Sir, another question, sir. Whenever you are traveling by the train, local train or the express train, at that time if you want to use the internet, it will take a more battery consumptions in comparison with the normal cases are there. So why it is happening?
The reason because it's the same amount of data to be get transferred. It takes more amount of time to get the same amount of data. The moment you take more amount of time, so that means you are utilizing your CPU more. The moment you utilize your CPU more, the CPU is directly proportional to your power consumption. So that way actually you will see the power consumption will also increases. So that depends on how actually you are using your CPU, you are using your memory, and these all CPU memory consumption is directly proportional to your power consumption.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually connecting to the previous question, sometimes I have seen that when I have already connected with Wi-Fi and also it is the mobile data is on over there. So what happens that when the Wi-Fi stream is getting like lower, then even I have 4G in my phone or 5G, whatever it is, the stream, it doesn't work properly. And now I have to manually switch off the Wi-Fi so that the mobile data can work properly. So how can this happen actually?
I did not understand the question. You have a Wi-Fi.
I have
You
both
have a
Wi-Fi
mobile
and
connection.
data open.
You have a Wi-Fi, you have a mobile connection, and the Wi-Fi connection is less strength,
Yeah.
and the mobile connection is more strength.
Yeah.
You can clearly see the lines are there. Right?
Yes.
So what you do, you manually switch over to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, actually if I don't switch over to the mobile data, if the Wi-Fi strength is not good, then what happens? The speed decreases of my surfing speed.
Of course, the Wi-Fi connection is less strength.
Yeah.
So your speed will decrease.
But still the mobile data is on with me. It did not
But it
automatically
will
switch
not.
to.
It will not go to the mobile connection unless it will disconnect this one.
Okay. So
Unless you cannot offer. That is that question I have told you. There is a dual stack we have implemented in the mobile system. One network, one thing at a time it will be operational. So you cannot say I will using Wi-Fi and also I will use mobile data both. So that is you cannot do. So one connection has to terminate to do another connection. Why we have to do it? The reason being is that Wi-Fi you are getting a free connection. You are not paying for that.
Yeah.
Many times. You are maybe if you are using in your home, you have paid for that. But when you are using outside, it is a free connection. But when you switch over to the mobile data, it is a paid connection. You have to buy that 2 GB, 4 GB, 10 GB, 20 GB, that amount of data. So that's why it is required when you switch over that, you have to switch over to a mobile network, and that is where the proper authentication will happen. So you have to disconnect this one, connect to there, and then you can do your transaction.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Sir, you told that there was a message from sender to receiver. There is an encrypted message, and hacker access after sender sending the message. So, sir, I want to know the message was totally encrypted, or the last 4 digit was shown to the hacker like that.
Very good question. There are many kind of encryption techniques used. If my message is a text message, I can totally encrypt it. Why? It will take less bandwidth, it will consume less memory when I decrypt it. But if the message is a video file, right, I cannot encrypt the whole video file. The moment I will encrypt a whole video file, it will take a huge amount of bandwidth. So that's why what we do, we only encrypt some portion of that video file. You have a frame, the video file is going, you have a frame, right? In the frame you only take a chunk of that and you encrypt it. Even if the some part outside, some part left side is accessible to the hackers, but the middle part still it is not accessible. But the probability here I am taking a risk. Some part is also available to them. The hacker can play permutation, combination, proposition to get that message. But to get a video file decrypted, it will take, if I run, let's say 10 to 20 supercomputers for almost 2 million years, then I can break. If that kind of theoretical analogy I am, why I am saying it is a theoretical? Because every computer, every resource, whether it's a computer, whether it's a, let's say your, let's say server, it's a definite amount of memory and computational power, right? So that's why the resource is limited. I am assuming that my counterpart, the hacker, which will definitely use a computer. When he uses the computer, he will definitely use the amount of resources which is available to me, the same amount of definite resources available to him, not an indefinite resource he can have. He cannot run the algorithm for, let's say, a decryption algorithm for, let's say, 2 minutes and crack a code, because the code is written in RSA algorithm, suppose. It's a factorial algorithm. Once you go to the factorial algorithms, you have to find out the prime numbers. Once you go to the prime numbers, you have to find out the generators. Those are generating these primes. And from the generators, you have to find the keys. It is not that easy. The ecosystem, he has to also do the same thing in a definite resources. So that's why sometimes we do partial encryption when you have a video files. When you have text messages, we do full encryption. The reason being is that, let's say, some kind of very VVIP, they are sending a text messages. We need, that's why they need a different kind of phones, which Motorola provides in US. President Joe Biden, he does not speak the phone we are using. It does not speak the same frequency like our tower provides. How actually we are getting the frequencies? The frequencies we are getting auctioned by Department of Telecom, which will buy by Jio, Airtel, Vodafone Idea. Then they establish the network. That frequency will be tapped in my mobile. Then I can connect. But he does not use that frequency. So the phone which is used, that's why they encrypt the whole message, because a very different kind of message communications happen. So with your question, yes, when we have a text messages, we can do a full encryption. When there is a video messages, we do a partial encryption.
Thank you, sir. One more question.
Yeah.
Sir, you have told about IP protocol. So, sir, our internet, our home internet connection, Wi-Fi connection have a IP. So,
Our home Wi-Fi is called as a WPA protocol.
WPA protocol.
Yes.
So, sir, what is IPVPN? That's one website like .net.
This is banned for our country. So sir, we can access torrent from different VPN access. So sir, how it is possible that our IP can be caught and it's banned like that?
So VPN is nothing but a IPsec. IP protocol augmented with security. That is called IPsec. The IPsec protocol provides end-to-end security. It has authentication header, it has a ESP, encapsulating security payload. So both authentication will happen and the whole payload get encrypted. Then it is the VPN will establish a connection between point to point. It will establish if you wants to talk to me, it will establish a connect from me to you. For example, I have my Ericsson laptop. I log in into Ericsson VPN. It will connect to my Ericsson office. It will not connect to Cisco office. It's a point-to-point connection. So that's why I know exactly which IP I am connecting. So there is no question of you are connecting to some other IP. So it depends on when you establish a VPN connection, it is a point-to-point connection and the exact IP is configured in the header. That is called as your authentication header, which provides the source to destination. It has defined the source destination. So if two IP has configured, then definitely it will be connected.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other question? You can ask any question. So anyway, let me we'll talk about the 5G security. Before going to the 5G security part, I will tell you what exactly the transformation change happened in the 5G. In the 4G system, when we connect, we will find out that many of the killer applications, when I say killer applications, for example, banking applications, for example, medical applications, these applications were not able to run in the 4G network. So that's why 5G network depends on how actually we are using a killer applications. So we need to establish a 5G network. When you establish a 5G network, we have to run a lot of killer applications. For example, you want to run a smart city. To do a smart city, what you have to do? You have to use a command and control center. In the command and control center, the police is sitting there. They are monitoring all the vehicles running in the state. If the vehicles are running in the state, they are monitoring it. Where these messages they are fetching? They are fetching all these messages through the telecommunication network. If my telecommunication network is flooded with all these messages, then the network will get breakdown or there will be a crash will happen. So that's why 5G, the download speed is in gigabits. And for 4G, I have already told it is in the Mbps. So, because of this speed difference, we can easily use 5G technology. So, in this also I will give you how actually we are using the 5G network. What is the end-to-end authentication? I will not go to the, when I say authentication, encryption, I will not go to any examples because I have given enough examples. So you might have, in the time you might have a fair idea of what actually it is mean. In terms of practical digital system, how this is happening, in terms of understanding some kind of relating examples also I have given. So this is representative 5G network. So what is the difference you guys can visualize from a 4G network and a 5G network? 4G network, when I have shown you, you will find out there is a lot of boxes are there. SDSN, GGSN, MME, S gateway, P gateway, all these networks are there. Here what is you will find out, it depends on whether it's anchor management function or user profile function, UDM, all these functions are virtual machines. They are not a hardware machines. They are a virtual machines. When I say virtual machines, these machines will be depends on the cloud. When it is depends and implement in the cloud, you have to run first a cloud environment. So the major changes, you please forecast. why Jio has implemented 5G so far. The reason being is that Jio implemented cloud native telco environment. The moment they implemented cloud native telco environment, they have transformed all their network system to the cloud native. And what they are doing, they are using some kinds of compute powers. And these compute powers is basically depends on the virtual machines they are running. And because of this, the other telco, right, Airtel and Vodafone, they are also transferring to the telco network. And these functions which are depicted here, all are not hardware functions. So therefore, to make a rollout, it becomes very easier. The moment you make a faster deployments, that's why Jio claims we have done 5 lakhs villages the 5G implementation. Because they have a cloud. If they have a cloud, what do they have to do? They have to only scale it up. To do the scale, they have to only use a resource. Either, what is the principle of cloud? The principle of cloud is, and let me give you another example. In the new year, you will find out most of the messages you guys send, some messages reach to your loved ones, but some messages does not reach. What is the reason behind it? Because the reason is the server, Yahoo server is loaded, or the server is loaded. That is the principle. Many operators say the server is loaded. But what is the principle of cloud is, you use whenever it is required, you release the resource whenever it is not required. So as you pay, as you use. I can pay during that time, I can use it, then I can release that resources whenever it is not required. But in 4G you cannot do it. The reason being is that you have a hardware, boxes are there. You cannot say, I am using SD gateway, when it is not required, I throw it out, because you have given the money to buy this kind of devices. So that's why the power of cloud gives that as you pay and as you use. Because of that kind of concept, you will find out the rollout of 5G system is very effective. And use of these powers, it depends on how actually it is scaling. Suppose you have a resource, you want to use more resources. You can use additional compute power. You can use additional VMs, virtual machines. You can scale up. And then you have got to a particular village where you will find out to go to the deeper side, it becomes there is no connectivity. So you can use your cloud mechanism, you can deploy by using a lot of VMs, virtual machines. So the biggest difference you can mark in 4G and 5G is, 4G is not a cloud native based architecture, 5G is a cloud native based architecture. What is the advantage? The advantage is, in the cloud native architecture, you can use whenever you have requirement, and you can release the resources when you do not have any requirements. So that means the users, let's say, who could be the users? Just make a guess. Who could be the users? The users may be AIMS, let's say. All India Institute of Medical Science, government want to decide, AIMS let us use 5G system. Why AIMS will going to pay whole network which is Airtel is building? They are not supposed to pay, ne? But in 4G, he has to pay, because he has to do all the transactions in the 4G network. But in 5G, whenever I will come to there, I will tell you how actually this is not possible. Similarly, let's say Mahindra want to run all its telemetry system, the vehicle they are running in the road. So they want to use a 5G system. They want to use a 4G system. In the 4G system, he has to pay a lot of money. But in 5G system, they don't. Whatever amount they will use it, they will only pay. That is the additional advantage and the power of 5G is coming. It is not that simple that people are talking about 5G. There are a lot of additional important things that is coming, which is making 5G so powerful. So that's why these elements, those are used in this, they are called as a compute virtual machines. They can be scaled up, scaled down based on the requirements. And this scale up and scale down depends on how actually the resource requirement is required. Suppose in healthcare system, AIMS wants to deploy massive cloud, and AIMS can take a lot of compute powers. Similarly, Mahindra wants to take a very less amount of compute power to run its only telemetry data. So you can deploy very less amount of compute power. So that is how actually you can change your network in 5G. What is the difference? Again, I am saying in 4G, you cannot change your network. Why? The 4G network is a flat architecture. The moment you pull out one box, the whole the system will be get distracted. But in terms of 5G, I can pull out a virtual machine or a compute and then I can release it whenever it is required. So that is the power it will generate, and based on this you can find out how actually you can use it. So that is why actually you will find out a lot of applications will be run in the 5G network. As Partha sir was in the morning telling that Industry 4.0 is only visualized after 5G is getting implemented. Because there are a lot of applications he has told during his talk. So that is only applicable when you need this kind of resource pooling, pushing mechanism, making it cloud and operating based on your need basis. So then you can do it. So what is the authentication mechanism used in the 5G is basically depends on your user requirements till the UDM. So how the authentication mechanism was working in terms of 4G? 4G the authentication mechanism, your credential basically lies in the HLR system. HLR system holds all your credential. What is your credential in terms of your mobile? Your credential in terms of your mobile is your name, your IMEI number, and it depends on your email configured there. So these are the credentials which has been used. For authentication mechanism, basically it goes to the UE to the UDM. So UDM keeps all the user profile, and again please understand, if the UDM keeps all the user profile, let's say what is the user base of Jio in terms of forget about 5G. What is the user base of Jio? What is the user base of Airtel? Jio is 350 million user base, right? So 350 million user has to authenticate in the system which is 4G. So that's why each has to establish a particular sessions. But in terms of 5G, I have the flexibility of running multiple UDMs. If I run a multiple UDMs, I can establish multiple concurrent sessions. If I establish multiple concurrent sessions, then you will find out multiple users can join the network in very quick time. So that is the power of 5G. It will make the users to be connected at very light, fast speed, where you can connect to the network and you can authenticate to the network. So that's why when you move to the magnet train, even it is in moving with 300 km per hour, you can directly connect when the 5G is there. So because it establishes a lot of concurrent session. What is the again difference between 4G and 5G? 4G does not depend on any concurrent sessions. It cannot establish a concurrent session. The moment you establish a lot of concurrent session, it cannot handle. But in terms of 5G, it handles a lot of amount of concurrent sessions. To handle this kind of concurrent sessions, I need computational power. Where I am getting the computational power? The computational power I am getting from the cloud. Where I am getting this cloud? I am deploying various kinds of virtual machines. By deploying various kinds of virtual machines, I am creating VMs which is required for me. I am creating the compute power which is actually required for me. So that is how actually you can establish a multiple amount of authentication in terms of 5G. So integrity check and encryption, already I have given you the examples. What happens here in terms of integrity check and confidentiality check? I am a user. I am sending my message to the base station, right? The base station I got connected, it is going there and getting authenticated. Is the base station is a real one or a fake one? How can I know it? I may not know it in 4G systems. Because the base station does not authenticate with the required users. So therefore the integrity check which is happens with the user which is sending the data to the base station does not connect to the user. So therefore two-way handshake does not happen in 4G system. So what is the advantage in terms of 5G system? I can do two-way handshake process by doing this integrity checking and by using this encryption mechanism. So in that context, what exactly I am doing? I am making this G node B or the base station to be a trusted base station. If my base station is a trusted base station, what can I do? I can run my healthcare application on it. Suppose the base station where you are sending the data, it comes out to be a fake base station. What will happen? It will take all the data, it will create like a man in middle attack. It will create here, it will send one message here, it will send another message there, it will create a man in middle attack. So that is the reason. I think this example I am giving should be kept within this room, right? Do not cite to the students. In China border and Pakistan border, we have a lot of fake base stations. When we connect to these base stations, our message gets relayed to them. Because these base stations in 4G systems were not been integrated because I authenticate to the base station, but the base station does not authenticate me. I do not know whether the base station is a fake or original base stations. So what happens, some attack has happened, then there is a lot of, in the Prime Minister's Cyber Security Office, I am one of the members, we have a lot of deliberation happened there. Then we understand how come our message is going and they are getting all these information. How actually it is going on. Then we studied all this encryption mechanism and the message decipher and understand. But then we realize that lot of base stations which has been given there is a fake base stations. Because of these fake base stations, they have been relaying all this data so outside my perimeter of my LOC or LAC, whatever they are saying in both the countries. We have different connotation we use. So based on this, then probably we have removed almost 10,000 base stations. Can you imagine? Even the operator do not know. This base station has been installed. This base station has been configured. Then you will tell me how this is possible. Suppose he is my, let's say I am the engineer. Engineer should be thought as a very less thing. So they will come and told me, okay, you are installing the base station. How much the Airtel or Jio is paying? 5,000 rupees. I will give you 50,000 rupees. So this base station you install. The core engineer installed this base station. So therefore it is not only man aspect we have to consider. When we consider the cyber security, it depends on the, we call it people, process and technology. We take care of three aspects into account. We will not only strengthen our people, those are operating in the field, we have to strengthen the process, and also we want to technology. Only enhancing 5G technology will not solve the purpose. If our people are on the ground are not sound enough and not understanding the implication of national security. So that's why I was talking to somebody that people say, I am doing cyber security, it's some kind of it's like a hobby, I am doing it. Because something goes wrong, nothing will happen. But the moment it will be implicated to the national security, you are gone. The moment it is, I don't want to cite the example, because your state has seen that problem. So, the moment cyber security is linked to the national security, you have larger implications. Your IT Act will come into play, your asset will be get seized. There are a lot of implications will be there. As long as it is not linking to the national security, it is okay. So, in the case of 5G, we call it as we are developing the architecture, we call it as a service-based architecture. What is the meaning of service-based architecture? I use the architecture based on what extent I use the resources. That is fine. I have given the example, you have a cloud, you use the network resource functions, you use the network functions, you use the virtual machines and use it. Think about a particular virtual machine is not behaving properly. A particular virtual machine, let's say, has taken by some, let's say Mahindra has taken. Mahindra is a good player, or Tata has taken. They are very trusted players. But what happens to a people which is operating that particular virtual machine? If we play some kind of havoc, that what we call as a insider threats. Some insiders playing, then that is a problem in 5G. 5G has solved that based on the token-based access mechanism. That means they will access the token and based on the token they can grant the permission. So that is the added advantage in terms of 5G, which was not in the case of 4G. So you please see, the examples I am giving, you will find out every time I am citing an example, you will find out why 5G is so high. The reason being is that the kind of advantages it brings in comparison to the preceding technology. If it like 3G, we come as a 4G. Does not bring much changes. It's just a architecture evolution. But in 4G to 5G, it's a not architecture evolution. It is a ecosystem evolution. When the technology is evolving, it is driving a lot of ecosystem on top of it. So that is the power of 5G. And we are going to use, and if we do not make the security parameters strong each and every stage, then it will be a nightmare for us. Now, you will find out why I have given this kind of example like AIMS. I have given the examples like Mahindra because we call it as a network slicing. Network slice means I have a particular network, I will slice the network. If I slice the network, one slice I will give to healthcare system, the another slice I will go get, let's say, a vehicular system, the another slice I will give to educational institute. For example, your college, Parthasaru will want to get a particular slice to run the college. Should I demand him to pay me 2 lakh per month? He will say, go, I don't need, my teachers are very quite strong, they can teach it. But to do it, I must give a slice which should be computationally feasible, less cost effective. That is the power of 5G is bringing. Suppose tomorrow the DRDO, the Defense Research Development Organization, they want to take a particular network slice. If they want to take a particular network slice, of course, they have to pay more because they have to keep the defense data. They have to keep the critical data. So, the slice they will take, they must pay more. It is not that they are using more. It is because they are keeping the data which is very, very critical. You take another example of medical system. If all the medical, let's say, AIMS data has been kept in a particular slice and the slice has been compromised, recently you have seen AIMS attack, you guys have heard in the news, AIMS attack. In the AIMS attack, you will find out all the healthcare record of our, even our ministers, our cabinet ministers have been there. So we never want to all this data to be get compromised. So what they have to do, they have to pay more because they are putting the data in the critical data. Not only that, their data they are consuming more data. But as an educational institute, it is the reverse. You guys can consume a lot of data. Your student can consume a lot of data. But these are not critical data. So that is where actually we make a business decisions. When actually we do all this kind of analysis, when we give in the CXO level, we make this kind of business decisions. Where actually what we have to give, what extent we will get the money, and this is how the flexibility I can get in 5G. I do not have this kind of flexibility in 4G. So I cannot make a business decision based on the 4G architecture. So the 5G architecture provides me a business decision. Initially it provides a good authentication mechanism, good computing power. Now it is providing, because of the service-based architecture, it is providing me a flexible business decisions to use lot of architecture mechanism. So that is how actually you will find out the service-based architecture is there. Coming back to the technically you have different kind of slice. If I have a different kind of slice, I have to make a slice isolation. What is the meaning of isolation? Means healthcare slice should not interact with the educational slice. Educational slice should not interface with the telemetry or the vehicular slice. So I must do a slice isolation. By doing the slice isolation also, if I have given Parthasar one slice, then what I have to do? In the slide, I made a slice isolation. What I have did, I made a educational slice I have given to purchaser. But what I have to do, further I have to do a segregation. What segregation I have to do? Purchaser will tell me, look, my HR, which is running the confidential data, must be in one slice. My payroll system, where all my employees are getting the payments, should be in different slice. My students, those will access the data, should have very normal slice they can use. And these are the, again I will further make the classifications based on my requirements. That is the flexibility and power 5G can give. That kind of flexibility power was not available in terms of 4G. So that's why you will find out it is very important when actually we are doing a transition, how actually we are building the ecosystem, and this ecosystem based on the kind of computational power and the resources, the business decisions we are making. Ultimately, it is run by either Jio or Airtel. If they do not make money, they are not going to run the networks. So to make the money now, it is important for them to run this kind of 5G network. So that's why they are investing heavily in the 5G network. The moment they will invest, they can have flexibility in the business decisions. They have flexibility in the different vertical industries they can run. Whether telemetry, whether vehicular technology, whether it is educational, whether healthcare, different verticals they can run. Currently in the 4G system, what they are doing, they are providing this much of bandwidth. You run all these things there, and that's a chaotic situation. Neither we are achieving this, nor we are achieving that. So that's why 5G has more power than the 4G system. Another important thing is, when actually we are going in the 5G, suppose I came from, let's say, Gurgaon, I come to Kolkata. When I am roaming from Gurgaon to Kolkata, my message should be get protected. That is what we call as a protection of integrity, message authentication in terms of 5G network, which is not in terms of 4G network. So that is the biggest difference. So therefore you will find out in 4G network, some political leaders are told, when we are in Telangana, we are okay. The moment we travel to Delhi, our message has been trapped, right? They have all shown in the, under Mr. Goswami told, how it is possible he can shut down anybody or no question. So the reason being is that message integrity, technically they don't understand the nitty-gritty of how this message integrity works. So this 4G network does not do that. But here the 5G, the power is there. You can protect the integrity when actually you are doing a roaming from one point to another point. So all these VVIPs, they also use the normal cell phone like yours. They also use the same bandwidth. They also use the same resources. Except maybe there are 1 or 2% those are using different wavelength. But like our CDS, Army Chief, they does not use this mobile phone. They are altogether different wavelength when they communicate. So this is where actually you will find out the power that 5G is providing. So it is very easy for when actually you are transforming your business or scaling from one point to another point, you can do a roaming protection. And the most important thing is you can find out your identity protection. In the identity protection, what is the identity you guys are using in your mobile? It's called IMEI, International Mobile Equipment Identifier, right? IMEI. The IMEI you are using here, the moment, forget about India. India is a nice country, does not make any sense. When I was landed in Hong Kong, I switched to HTM network. My identity is revealed there, right? So the Chinese government, the moment Indian delegation will go through the Hong Kong, they will get all this information. These are the people are coming, these are the identity is there. That is not possible in 5G. 5G what we call as is called as SUSI. SUSI is that IMEI get encrypted and we call it as a concealed identifier. because of this concealed identifier, your identity is always encrypted. And by using this identity encryptions, you cannot find out that the somebody from other side will spoof it and get your identity. If they do not get it, then they cannot manipulate it. So that is again another power of 5G. And for example, like common people also, you will find out if you are doing something, then there is a system is placed in government also, they can track and they can find out your identity. But that is not possible in the 5G. That's why in the television you might have seen lot of political opponent parties leaders saying, हमारा तो सब आप लोग पढ़ रहे हैं message. How this is possible? That is because they are using 4G. The moment they use in 5G, this identity, spoofing identity is not possible. This will be taken care by not the government. This will be taken care by the operator itself. If the government, in worst case, the national security implication is there, they want to get your identity, they have to apply to the IB will apply to the DOT will apply to the operator, then operator will reveal your UDM or your data or the HLR data that is applicable to them. So there is a huge long process, and that process also legal implications. Why the government wants to take your identity. But nowadays if you see, a lot of other identities has been leaked. No, you will find out now. So these kind of things will be very difficult when actually you are doing in 5G systems. So that is why actually the common users, those who are running, mainly the business people, those who are running, they can use 5G network, they can run it better. So another one dimension I just thought to give you guys is that cyber security, when this is actually I have defined in the network space. But when you talk about the cyber security in terms of geopolitical space, it does not work like this. Because US governments has their own set of cyber security laws, European have their own set of cyber security laws, Singapore government has their own cyber security laws, India government has their own cyber security laws. Recently we come out with a DPDP Act. We have come out with a Privacy Protection Act. Because of the Puttaswamy judgment, they called it privacy is the fundamental rights of the citizen. We come out with this bill. Government says, hey look, I am going to protect your privacy provided you are a good citizen. But if you are violating these kind of things, then your private parts will be then taken in the national implication. So here I have given some kind of ideology that you think that I am developing a security system and the security system will be applicable to everywhere. And that is going to be wrong everywhere. That is not going to work. What you have to do, you have to develop a security system and that must be globally some minimum common baseline you have to draw. The moment you draw a minimum common baseline, that can be applicable to all laws. So that's why European Union has brought the GDPR and India privacy law, if you see, it is almost derived from the GDPR. And some of the parts we have made it as India specific, but most of the part is derived from the GDPR. But Singapore privacy law is completely different. If you see US, that is called Privacy Shield, that is also completely different. So to understand this kind of thing, that you have to give a small project to your students. If the project or the student can develop a project in privacy, you please don't believe there will be a hot cake now. They will be sold in the market like anything. And this kind of privacy related project, if you give to the student, Facebook, Google, every company is now behind these students. We are literally begging where to get this kind of students to develop the privacy. When I say privacy, let me go a little bit further, step down to the technical part. How to develop the privacy impact analysis algorithm. How to develop the privacy enhancing mechanisms. How to develop the algorithms that will make the user anonymous. So these are the algorithms that they have to develop. The moment they want to develop these algorithms, these are maximum 200, 300 lines of code. But that is not easy. They have to understand a lot of implications and then they have to develop it. So that's why these kind of things, when you give the new projects, industry is ready to take these kind of people. If they say, we have at least done the analysis in privacy, take him, we'll train them, and this guy will do it for us. So that is why actually you have to ignite the students where they have to take the different kind of projects. So basically when the telecom network is defined, the telecom network is basically defined based on the ITU. ITU is called as International Telecommunication Union. They draft the various kinds of rule and regulation for defining the cyber security. And this is defined in the plane level, dimension level, and what are the security threats are available. So these are the classification. So you will tell a student, please don't do a code level. Let them do an analysis project. They will analyze, they will take a system. Let's say they have taken a JIS. They will see what is the security dimensions available and what is the threat is available. Or let's say they have taken a VM compute. And they will say what is the threat available, what is the solution they can provide. They can be hired in the campus like anything. So that is how actually these kind of things need to be given to the students. And this is, if they relate that I have developed this based on the ITU standards, then there will be company like Ericsson, Nokia, Cisco, Juniper, they will take them like anything. Because that is where actually they need the systems should be developed based on the international standards. So another thing that we are developing is called as some of the things that I want to give you a flavor where you will find out what the industry is developing. We are developing a software defined network. When we are doing a software defined network, so what is the main theme is? The main theme is we are making the networks to a software based. When you transitioning a network, a hardware based network to a software based network, what is the advantage you will get? You will get a flexibility. You can get it, your software get updated. You need not have to replace the hardware. If you want to replace the hardware, you have to pay a huge amount of cost. But if you upgrade the software, it is a 1/10 or maybe 1/20 of the cost. You can upgrade the software and make it run. Software, let's say 5G is there. After some time you will find out people are now started talking 5.5G. Now people are talking 6G. So do you want more boxes? Then if you put a lot of boxes, then what will happen? Basically you have to pay more. And 5G, what is happening? The 5G system is now, it will be, you put a small cell, you put in your home, you connect to your microwave, you connect to your washing machine, you connect to your TV, you connect them very easily. And then you have a mobile, I have an app there. What I do, in my app, I switch on my washing machine. Then I go to office. When I say your washing is done, I switch off my washing machine. I told my wife, don't bother me because I have set up all these things. I can do it. So this is how you can do it in 5G. Only what I have done, I install a small cell, 5G small cell in my home. And that is same as like your Wi-Fi router. So this is the power you can do. You can make all these appliances can run based on these things. So another thing is, this is the detail I have given. If you want to develop the various kinds of protocols, please note it down and then you can find out a lot of small protocols you can develop based on the software based. And these are the BTech projects you can give to your students. If you tell them, please develop a project on SDN, they will lost. They will not understand. They will just tell, develop a LDAP for SDN. LDAP is a lightweight access protocol which is used for the directory access. You have a database, in the database you have a directory, how to access it. That is very easy for them to develop these things. So that is why actually you will find out how you can develop these things. And similarly, another thing I have given is that the cloud, what we are doing is, in terms of 5G, we term it as a network function virtualization. That means what the network was offering in 4G, now the whole network is transformed as a function. and that function I virtualize, and then in the based on the virtualize I use compute power, and then I use it. So that is the power actually you can generate in terms of 5G. And cloud, I have given the example of cloud, but is it that so easy if I develop a cloud security framework? This is the framework I have developed for ITU, International Telecommunication Union, and my framework is used in almost 100 countries. They are using this cloud security framework, and that's why I show in most of my presentations. I am proud that as an Indian I have developed a framework which has been used in many countries. However, you have a cloud broker, you have a service configuration, you have a SaaS service-based architecture, you have a VPN manager, somebody was accessing how actually we are using a VPN connection. It's a end-to-end. It's a point-to-point because I operate these things. So, if you want to deploy the cloud security framework, sir, then again it will be a center of excellence. It cannot be given to the teachers to give the students. But they can give some kind of some projects, then further we can integrate, make a system which will be run in the system-based architecture. And the other thing is that when you design this kind of 5G systems, now I have told you my slides will go a little bit technical and it will be a little bit deeper. So basically you will find out when you develop this kind of systems in 5G, we have to use lot of security mechanisms. To use the security mechanism, please do not go to the wording of this slide. Just understand the gist I am giving. I have to develop a particular security system. To develop this security system, what it represents, it depicts a lot of data. To analyze the data, it is nothing but a big data operating in the cloud environment. So, this big data analytics I can use to do a data analytics. When to do a data analytics, I can find out what is the amount of threat is available, who is coming and what time he is attacking my network, is it changing my configuration I have put in the network. So all sort of analysis I can do based on this big data analytic framework. This big data analytic framework is used in the cloud environment. So this kind of technique to be developed, you can give it as a PhD. Those who wants to do PhD, or you guys wants to do PhD. You take this as your project and do it, and then you will be find out there are a lot of organization is interested to do a big data analytics, big data analytics, where you can find out there will be a lot of PhD thesis can be taken into. Many people say if you are in the teaching, then PhD, don't do PhD and go to the industry. That is wrong, completely wrong. I was in teaching initially, then I did my PhD. After my PhD, Motorola took me. Motorola selected me because of my PhD thesis. So it depends on industry ready students. You want to make them. You give a particular project. That time I will give you the example. I was doing a security mechanism based on the sharing of the resources. Everybody was laughing. They told, where the resource sharing will happen? Jio, you want to share the resource with Airtel? Airtel will share the resource with Vodafone Idea. So this kind of things will nothing happen. But now it is happening. Everybody is sharing the resources to everybody. Why? Because they want to save the cost. They want to utilize their network more. So that is the problem I have solved in 2003 when I took my PhD. And Motorola was first taken my patent. It was US patent, it's a mountainous patent, and it was huge money at that time. And Motorola has taken that patent and implemented in AT&T and Verizon. So because Motorola used to cater AT&T and Verizon. So that depends on how actually you foresee a particular thing, go out of box, do it. That is sometimes you will find out it will definitely click. Another thing that I just want to, I am not sure whether this slide is relevant or not, but why I want to give all of you, deliberately I put this slide, because supply chain security is very, very important. You see the recent war, Ukraine war. all the food supply chain has been broken. You see the war in Gaza, all the supply chain is broken. But what is the context in 5G? The context in 5G is that all the equipments are coming from multinational companies like us. Where is India is playing the role? Where is India is playing the role? You are the people, you have to make India, because I always told my son, see, I spend 2 hours with you, but your teachers spend 10 hours with you. For me, your teachers are God. You have to treat your teacher like your father, mother, because they are spending more time to you than me. I hardly spend time with you. So that's why you are the next generation company builders to percolate this kind of psychology to teach into our students. They will come out with a next generation entrepreneur, build a system for our country. Then we will be self-reliant, self-indigenous, what is our Prime Minister is saying. So based on this you can find out, then you can find out a security system will be designed that will be, then you might be thinking, we take a foreign equipment, right? What is the wrong with it? The supply chain has come from somewhere else. If they have embedded backdoors are there, they can access the equipment from outside and they can exploit those things. So therefore, to develop indigenous projects, you please, like Paytm, they have developed an indigenous project, right? And the UPI is our own project. UPI, when we have developed that time, it's an indigenous project. So, my objective of telling this thing is that, correlating with 5G, that whenever you take a small 5G project, try to make indigenous so that it can be get more funds from DST. The moment they know it is a word indigenous is there. Madam is going there, he must be knowing. There are some wording we deliberately put, and some wording, and if the project is also led by a lady, then that will be also a lot of advantages. Because the recent budget you have seen, right? How they have given a lot of importance. So that is very lot of things are changing. We must take into the cognizance that some of the, because all our women power has done fantastic work last 3-4 years, maybe 5 years. So that is how the power is changing. So the soft power that India is building that is most important, and that is what actually US has already built. A lot of you go to the companies, a lot of women are CFO, CEO, they are heading a lot of big companies. So that's why my objective of telling this thing is that you are the nation builder. I always feel so, because my teachers, whenever I go to the village, I definitely go and touch each and every teachers, because of them we found out how actually we come out with this stage. So therefore, when you take this kind of thing, please put the people that will come into and they can work with you. And another thing is, now when you building these 5G systems, you have to build with a lot of intelligence analysis that you have to build. To do an intelligence analysis, to build a 5G systems, it depends on how actually you are building based on this data. Have you heard the name of Hadoop project? Hadoop project, you have heard it. So you can use Hadoop data analytics methods and you can do 5G data analytics. Where is the huge amount of data like configuration management, change management, security management, incident management, where you can use huge amount of data. If you put manual people to do this data analytics, it's a huge task for them to do it. So because the attacker is doing an attack, network is down, you are doing a root cause analysis, you have to do fast. You have to use a counterproductive technology to do these things. So that is how actually we have to do in terms of 5G. And another thing is that to do all these things, you have to use artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence based methods are basically very important when actually you will do this kind of analysis. In the artificial intelligence based methods, we do for our EDR, it's called as endpoint detection and response. We are implementing EDR across our Airtel network. 5,000 EDR deployment is happening all over India. some node behave very wrongly. Then how to detect that node? We use AI based technique to detect all these things. Nowadays AI is a buzzword. You have to do a lot of analysis based on the AI based. So I will just give a practical example. Practical analysis happens to me. Sir, it's thanks to sir because you have booked my flight in Indigo. So what happened? I was just traveling from Delhi to Kolkata in Indigo flight. I think you all have traveled in Indigo flight. Indigo flight, you will find out, you can see the pilot. There is no bar, but other flight you cannot see. They put a bar and you cannot see the pilot is coming or going. One person was sitting, is a little bit old person, and he asked me what you are doing. I said I am doing this, and where you are going? I said I am going Calcutta for some meeting and all this. So we have a good chat and all these things happen. Then what happens? The pilot came out from the cockpit and went to the restroom. The flight goes to toss. The flight goes to turbulence. Then that guy is looking like this. मैंने बोला क्या हुआ अंकल? अरे वो अंदर चला गया फ्लाइट को देखो ऊपर नीचे हो रहा है. मैं बोला सर don't worry. It is a 320 Airbus. It is best artificial intelligence algorithms are used. Lot of machine learning algorithms are fit by Airbus. Nothing will happen. You don't worry. He said, "अरे चुप रहो यार इसको आने दे." So in the meantime, the pilot came. When the pilot came, he went to the cockpit. It's a coincidence. Maybe coincidence means maybe the pilot has got the flight get stable. When the flight get stable, he told me, "What you do?" I said, "I am a senior vice president in a multinational company." अरे वो सब नहीं पूछ रहा हूँ. तेरा qualification क्या है? मैं बोला my qualification is I am a PhD from IIT Bombay. That is the problem with you guys. If you have learned a lot from IIT, you leave everything to machine, you leave everything to algorithm. You see, the man came and controlled. So therefore, why I give this example? I learned from that gentleman. Thanks sir for giving me Indigo flight. So he taught me the lesson that don't leave artificial intelligence alone. Artificial intelligence, if it is left alone, then it will create a huge problem. That is what the Buddhists are doing in the Black Sea.
And dominate you.
Of course. So, therefore, a human being should be there to control this artificial intelligence. So, man-machine algorithm combination should be there. I learned from the gentleman. I said, no. So that's what I'm saying. Nowadays, you tell your students to do AI-based analysis, and it is not that they will do surprisingly something and come that tomorrow, sir, I have by using artificial intelligence, I have passed, sir. And I got all these details what sir is going to ask in the next meeting. So therefore, it is very intelligently you have to use this technology. So I thought I will give this practical example to you. But believe me, we are using a lot in artificial intelligence. The objective of telling this, the analogy of giving this is that artificial intelligence will never kill the job. That is like Y2K. People have told a lot of job will be go. It never happened. Artificial intelligence will never kill the job. Artificial intelligence will rather create the job, intelligent job. So that is the power of artificial intelligence. So with this, I think I am done. Any further question I can take it. I think I have. Oh, it's 1:40 now. Yeah, any question please? We can probably discuss 5 minutes. Otherwise, you have my email ID, my WhatsApp number. Please be in touch. And any I can help you providing the resource like papers. I can provide you connecting to, because I am member in lot of organizations. I am also chairman and vice chairman in lot of committees. I can connect you and I can do my best. And I can even connect to your students to different companies. If you are find something, somebody is in need, is very required to be done urgently, then you can connect me. I can also help in that one. So all because I want to, with all my sincerity, thanks to Partha sir for giving me the opportunity. And once again, I told all of you, you are all the lesson builders, teachers. And you always feel that you are creating the next generation CEO, next generation CEO, so like us. Because of that, we all are could learn a little bit and deliver the talk to you guys, because you guys have shown the path to us. So that's why you all always feel yourself proud. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for gracing us with the knowledge of coding and 5G security. It was really appreciating and informative. Thank you for giving us a chance to hear you out. We are overwhelmed with your knowledge. Can we give a big round of applause again? Now, I would like to call upon our principal, sir, to felicitate our honored guest with a moment.
Thank you. You make me proud by writing, Professor.
Enough syllabus. By you just definition now with the professor of practice.
So let's ourselves to be anchored here. That relationships are going on. Let be anchored here. We will continue it from tomorrow. For that, for next meet us the next day. Till then, have a good day. Thank you everybody for attending.
Thank you.
ওটা বলে দিয়েছি আমি গ্রুপে